Okay, so picture this. You've got this massive, giant website with pretty much all the world's facts. We're talking countries, cities, languages, you name it, it's in there. But here's the thing. All that raw data, it's really just noise until you figure out how to ask it the right questions. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to unlock that power.
So the big question is, how do you actually find specific answers when you're staring at a mountain of raw data? I mean, how do you go from what looks like a giant, messy spreadsheet to one single crystal clear insight? Well, it all comes down to having the right tools to ask the right questions.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to add 5, count them, 5 super powerful, and trust me, easy to learn SQL operators to your data toolbox. These are the absolute essentials you'll need for filtering, searching, and just, well, making sense of all that information.
First up, we've got the in operator. Now, what it does is pretty simple at its core. It just checks if a value you're looking at matches anything in a list you give it. The easiest way to think about it? It's like being a bouncer at a club asking, hey, is this name on the guest list? It's a simple yes or no. That's it.
And this is where it gets really cool, because it's all about efficiency. I mean, look at this. On the left, you've got the hard way. It's this long, messy chain of OR statements. Honestly, it's a pain to write and even harder to read. But then look over on the right. That's the smart way. Using the in operator just cleans everything up beautifully. It makes your code so much more readable, especially when that list of yours starts getting really, really long.
So here's a perfect example of what that looks like in a real query. You're basically telling the database, hey, I know you've got a ton of data, but I only care about the countries whose continent is on this specific list, Asia or Europe. It's just a super direct, super powerful way to filter your data down to exactly what you're looking for.
Okay, let's move on to our second tool, the between operator. This one is going to be your best friend anytime you need to check if a value falls inside a specific range. You know, we're talking numbers, prices, or like we're about to see, dates.
So how does it actually work? Well, think of it this way. Using between is just a really clean shorthand. Instead of writing out greater than or equal to this and less than or equal to that, you just say between. And this is super important. It includes the endpoints themselves. It's inclusive. So you get the start value, the end value, and everything in between.
And this makes it super clear, right? You can just imagine a timeline. If you want to find everyone who was hired at a company between, say, the start of the year 2000 and the start of 2020, the between operation is perfect. It just lets you grab that entire chunk of the timeline. It's clean, it's easy to read, and it's just incredibly effective for any kind of range search.
Okay, but what happens when you don't know the exact thing you're searching for? Maybe you only know part of a name or a word. Well, that is exactly where the like operator comes in to save the day. It's basically a pattern-matching powerhouse. You use these special characters called wildcards to find text that's just similar to what you're looking for. And really, there are two main wildcards you've got to know. First is the %sign. Think of this one as super flexible. It can stand in for any number of characters, including 0. Then you've got the underscore. This one's way more precise. It matches exactly 1 character. Getting the difference between these two is the whole key to writing really smart searches. Let's see that %sign in action. Say we want to find all languages that start with the letter A and end with the letter N. We don't really care what's in the middle, right? So we just write like A%N. And boom, that pattern perfectly grabs things like Albanian and Armenian.
And now for the underscore. Check this out. Let's say we're looking for 3-lettered country codes that follow a specific pattern. They have to start with A, then have any single letter in the middle and end with W. The query like A_W is perfect for this. It'll find ABW or ARW, but not AW. See? It's all about that precision.
All right, time to talk about cleaning up our mess. A lot of the time, when you run a query, you're going to get a bunch of duplicate rows in your results. It's just how it is. But the distinct operator is your simple one-word solution. It just gets rid of all those duplicates and shows you only the unique values. And this is a perfect before and after. On the left, you see the raw results. We're getting Spanish listed over and over. It's messy. But then, just by adding that one little word, distinct, look what happens on the right. We get a clean, unique list. No more repeats, so much better. So it's really that simple. If your job is to get a unique list of all the districts from your city data, all you have to do is pop that word distinct right there after select. The database handles the rest, filtering out all those duplicates for you.
Okay, on to our final tool for today. And this one is all about presentation. Because let's be honest, data isn't very useful if it's just a random jumble of information, right? The order by operator is what gives you total control to sort your final results in a way that actually makes sense.
And what's really great here is that you've got options. By default, it's going to sort things in ascending order, A to Z, or from the smallest number to the biggest. But if you want to flip that on its head, you just add the keyword DESC for descending. And you can even get fancy and sort by multiple columns, like sorting by country first and then sorting the languages alphabetically within each country. Here's a really powerful example. Imagine you want to find the single most populated city in the entire world. All you have to do is tell the database to order by population, and then add that DESC keyword. And just like that, it instantly brings the biggest city right to the very top of your list. So simple, so powerful.
Okay, deep breath. We've just learned 5 separate, awesome tools. But their true power? That comes when you start combining them into one single, sophisticated query. So let's put it all together.
So here's our final mission. We've got a few things to do. First, we need to find countries that are either in Asia or Europe. Second, their names have to start with the letter A. Third, we have to make sure each country only shows up once. And finally, we need to sort that whole list alphabetically.
And this is how we do it. This is the query that accomplishes our entire mission. First, we use in to grab countries from Asia or Europe. At the same time, we use like to make sure the name starts with A. Then, we throw distinct in there to get rid of any duplicates. And for the grand finale, we use order by to sort the whole thing alphabetically. It's like an assembly line for your data, and every single one of our new tools plays a crucial part.
And really, that's what this is all about, right? It doesn't matter if you're analyzing global languages, digging through movie databases, or heck, even trying to figure out your school's lunch menu. These 5 operators are the tools that help you ask much better questions and, in the end, get much clearer answers. It's all about turning that raw data into actual knowledge.
So, there you have it. You've now got the tools. You've got the basic framework for asking way smarter questions of your data. The only real question left is, what data puzzle are you going to solve first?